I'm Damian Serunkuma, and I'll be taking you through word processing. Word processing is a process of creating documents, formatting them, and then you can also edit them. Then later you can also think of printing using a computer program known as a word processor. A word processor is a program, it's a software. So it is different. Word processing is different from a word processor. A word processor is a software, and word processing is a process of creating files, of creating documents that go through a sequence of activities, a sequence of operations like editing, formatting, printing. So all that is what we call word processing. But a word processor is that software that you normally use to create documents. We have a number of word processors that we can possibly use. One of them is Microsoft Word, and this is the application that you'll see on your computer screen. And then we also have it's known as WordPad, and this is WordPad. So you look at WordPad and you also look at Microsoft Word. They look a lot the same. Okay, the number of functions that in a WordPad, and they're almost the same as the ones in Microsoft Word. However, we have other different word processors, like we can possibly use this WPS. Okay, they are what we normally call the Kingsoft Writer in earlier versions. However, this one comes along with other additional softwares. W is normally used for our word processing, and then we have P that is used for presentation softwares, or what we call normally we call it PowerPoint, and then S stands for spreadsheets. So you need to know these different word processors that we can possibly use to create different documents. So for now, I'm going to be using Microsoft Word, and those are some of the examples. We have Microsoft Word, we have Liber, we have Open Source, Open Office, we have WordStar, we have WordPerfect. So it depends what you want to use at a time, and that's what you need to go for. Now that we know some of these examples of word processors, let's now get to starting this word processor. So how do you start it? To start Microsoft Word, all you need to do is to click at the start button at the bottom left corner of your screen, and then in that you'll see a list of different applications. Scroll through them. Alternatively, if you have Windows 7, you will see something like a button around there. It has all programs. Select it and you'll be able to use Microsoft. You will be able to access the folder that has Microsoft Office. So for now, I'm just scrolling through. I'm using Windows 10. I'm locating Microsoft Office. Click at it once, and then you'll be able to access Microsoft Office 2007. I'm using 2007 for now. However, you can have different versions like Microsoft 2013, that is 2016, there's 2019, there is 2003. It depends what you want to use at a time. For now, I'm going to be using Microsoft Office 2007. So click once and you'll be able to launch the application on your computer screen. This application has what we call an interface. An interface is this is a graphical user interface, and it helps us to capture data into a computer system and also to show this data on our computer system. On the topmost is what we call the title bar, and then this title bar shows the application name and the name of the document that we have or we are going to create. At the extreme left of the document of our application is what we call office button. This office button is intended to give us different functions that we can perform on a particular document. Functions like creating a new document, opening a file, saving changes to a file, saving a file as a new file. Maybe you're giving it a name for the first time, you're saving it for the first time. You can actually even print this file. So particularly what we have in OpenOffice and Office button, it's just a functions, different functions that can be performed on a file that we are going to work on. Then at the extreme right we have three buttons. The one that appears with an X is intended to close the application, and it loads the application out of memory. Then the middle button is meant to resize. So when you click at it, it resizes the document to a smaller window, and when you also click at it again, it maximizes back to the full screen. Then we have the minimize button. This one intends to minimize the entire application, and it will load it. It will be hidden to what we call a taskbar. So the taskbar is at the bottom of your screen. However, if you want to reload the application back on your screen, click at the taskbar and you'll be able to reload the application back on your screen. Below the title bar is what we call a ribbon. This is the ribbon, and the ribbon has its functions grouped according to the tabs. These are the tabs up here. Okay, so when you click at each tab, you realize that the functionality changes. The functions that are within each tab changes. So we shall be working with the home tab. However, below the ribbon, normally we have what we call a document window, and this document window is our work area. This is where we shall be doing our typing and our formatting, editing, and all that. This is where the actual business happens. And then at the right side we have what we call the scroll bars. We have the vertical scroll bar that helps to move the document window up and down, so that even if you have some text hiding down there, you can actually click and hold using the left mouse button, click and hold, and then move your scroll bar down or up, so that you can be in position to see what's happening with your document. Another bar is what we call the horizontal scroll bar, but this one appears as long as your screen is wide enough and possibly you have some text hiding at the extreme points. So that appears and you can actually scroll horizontally. So this is the horizontal scroll bar, and then we have the vertical scroll bar at the extreme right. Below these scroll bars, the horizontal scroll bars, are what we call the views. These buttons are used for viewing. We have the normal print layout view that helps to view the data or whatever that you'll be typing on your screen as it will appear on a final paper when you have printed it out. Then we have the other views, like the view. So this one helps us to view the document as if it's a book. Okay, so you can close that view. Okay, and that is the full screen view or full screen reading. And then we have the web layout view. That will enable us to see the content as if as it would possibly appear on the browser. So that would be the web layout view. Okay, so we can possibly utilize what we call a print layout view for now, And then on the right side we have the zoom tool that helps us to zoom the page in and out. Okay, I'm going to keep it to this. Okay, 156%. Alright, so that now that you know the general layout of your window, let us now get started with the creation of some text. Before we create some text, we have the I-beam, blinking I-beam. This is what we call the insertion cursor, and the insertion cursor is intended to help us to enter data into our word processor, the document window. So all you need to do is to click anywhere and then start typing. Okay, hello world. Let's use that text, hello world. It is simply text that I kept on pushing buttons on my computer's keyboard so that you can enter text into a computer system. So let's look at file formatting, or what we call formatting. We want to change the look of our document. This video is intended to get the starters of word processors, get started on word processing. Otherwise it is not intended for professional practitioners of word processing. It's intended for the starters so that they can get started with the activities and skills that they need to use in their processing of documents. So I need to mention that whenever you want to change the appearance of something with your document, you always need to select it. You always need to select it so that you can apply properties to that object that you have selected. One of them is one option of selecting, you can actually click anywhere you want the selection to start from. Alternatively, click and hold, then move your mouse horizontally, click on the mouse button, left mouse button, then move your mouse, don't release it, move it to the right and then release. So that way you would have selected a word that you want to change. We're going to work with the fonts first, and then we shall possibly look at how to work with paragraphs. So for now I have selected the word hello, and then I want to change its font faces. On the home tab, click home tab, make sure that the text is selected, and then click home tab. Under home tab you will be able to locate this font section. At the font section you can actually click at the button, the drop down button under the home, and then you'll be able to select which font you want to work with. Select a font of your choice and then click at it once using the left mouse button. Click at it once and automatically that selected word will have the property of the font face that you have selected. I've actually selected Algerian font face. Then I can also change this word world. So I'm going to select it from the right, click and hold, and then move the mouse to the left. You'll be selecting a word. Alternatively, you can actually use the keyboard shortcut key combinations. All you need to do is to click at where you want your selection to start from. Then you press the shift key of your keyboard. Press the shift key of your keyboard and hold it. Don't release it. Then on your keyboard, press the arrow or the navigation arrows to the left. Whenever you press to the left, a selection of the word is taken, and then release the shift key. Then you can actually change the properties of the word world. I'm going to change the font sizes. Still under the home tab, I need to select the font size button. drop it down and move your cursor. You hover over different sizes that you need to take. Click and the word will have that font size that you've selected. You can do the same thing with the previous selection that you did. Change the font size to that, and the word is clearly read, hello world. However, you can actually work out with different characters. Select a character and you can actually change its font. This again, and you can actually change the font size of another character. However, sometimes you might need to have different sizes, so all you need to do is to change this, highlight it or select it, and then you delete out the characters that are there and change it to, let me change it to 150 and then press enter. So you realize that this character only it's 150 compared to the rest of the characters that are 72. That way you'll be able to work with the fonts, and you will be able to change the properties of the font size and then font face. Let's look at how to work with bold, italics and underlining. So let's look at bold, making something bold, and italics. Then let's look at what we mean by underlining. I'm going to select each of these words and apply the functionality that is attached to this word. These are different words. We have bold, and whenever you want to bold, highlight what you want to bold or select it using the left mouse button, click and hold, and then move your cursor to the left. Alternatively, if you've chosen to select from the left to right, click and hold your cursor on the left and then move your mouse to the right. There you would have the word selected. Alternatively, you can actually do what we call a double click. Point at the word that you want to select and press your mouse button twice to create this click. There you would have selected the word that you need to actually format. Now let's look at the home tab and then select bold. When you click at bold, B stands for bold. You can actually make the word stand out compared to the rest of them. This is bolding. I'm double clicking again and I want to remove the property of bolding. I need to click at the B again. You realize that the B itself is highlighted. It's active. Click at it and the word will retain its original position, its original emphasis. Click at bold again and it will be having the thickness will increase, making it bold. Let's do the same thing for italics. I'm going to double click the word to easily select it, and then all I need to do is to go to the font section under the home tab, font section, and I click the I. I is for bold, for italics. Click at the I and realize that once the I has been activated, the characters will have to bend to the right. That is italic selection. When you select the word and click the italics again, it removes the property from the word. Italics, remove the italics, make the italics again, and now I want to look at the underlining. Underlining enables us to put a line, not the one that you're seeing, the one that is green, but this time it will be black. So all I need to do is to select the word, double click at the word 1 2, and then still under the home tab select U for underlining, and you'll have the word underlined. If you want all of them to be underlined, it's okay, you can click and hold, then move the mouse and enclose everything that you need to be underlined, and then click underline. Can make them all of them bold by clicking bold. It will first of all remove the bold that is there, and then click bold and again, and everything will become bold. Same thing to do with the italics. They're now all italiced, and I can be able to remove the italics and then remove the underlining, later remove the bold. So you need to understand how these functions are used. Let us put a double underlining below the word bold. All you need to do is to underline, but which type of underlining? Click at the drop down and then select double. There you would have selected the word bold, and it has a double underlining, which is different. Possibly when I click, I simply click at bold underline. This time it is single. Both of these words are underlined. Italics is underlined and bold is underlined, but bold has a double underline. All you need to do whenever you want something of this nature, all you need to do is to click at the drop down next to U for underlining, and then select which underlining would you love to take. You can actually have more colors, can actually have the colors, different colors for different underlining that you have chosen to have. If you've made a final decision for the color that you need to have, click, and the underlining will have to change its color. That is for the underlining and working with BUI. Let's look at its shortcuts. Let me just move this. I'm reinstating it. This was for bold. We just need to look at its shortcuts. Suppose you need to use a keyboard. What happens? So if you need to use the keyboard, on the bottom left corner of your keyboard, let's get the on-screen keyboard so that you can be able to follow what I'm actually going to do. This is an on-screen keyboard. All I need to do is to select what I need to get an effect of, and there for bold I need to click at the control. Whenever you see a button on your keyboard and it has CTRL, you press it, hold it down, and then click at the letter B. When you click at letter B, it's going to deactivate the bolding. Same time, you can select it, click at control, hold it down, and then select letter B again, which will activate the bold. So this gives us the shortcut key combination as control CTRL plus letter B. This will be the shortcut key combination for bolding. How about italics? Italics, you need to select what you need to be italiced. Click at control, hold it down, and click at letter I, which will deactivate the italics. If you need the italics there to be there on the word, select the word and then click at Control I. Italics is attached and the button there has been automatically activated. So this gives us the second shortcut key for italics, which is Control plus letter I. That's the shortcut for italics. Let's look at underlining. When you underline something on your computer, select the word that you want to underline, then up there you can click at underlining, or alternatively you can actually click at, or you use your shortcut key combination on your keyboard. Press the Control key, hold it down, and press letter U for underlining. This will remove the underlining that has already been on your word, and you realize that the button that was active up there is also deactivated automatically. Select the word again, double click at the word to select it, and then you press the Control key on your keyboard and press letter U. The underlining will be activated once more. That way you will be able to give your word an underlining property. This gives us the shortcut key combination for underlining as CTRL plus U. This is a shortcut key combination for underlining. Control B will bold, Control U will underline, Control I italics. So you have just learned how to use the bolding, italics, and underlining. Let us now learn how to create another page on our document. All you need to do is to press Enter key on your keyboard, and the button will, or the insertion cursor will automatically jump to the new page. A new page will get created. Alternatively, all you need to do is to press the Control key on your keyboard, hold it down and press Enter and press the Enter key. Let's get busy. Let's press the Control key and press Enter. So whenever you press Control Enter, a new page will be created on your document. Let us use this page to create other items. This time around I want us to see how to work with the font colors. So this is font colors. Highlighting this, and I'm removing the bold, the underlining property. Let's change the font size to 72. Now that our font sizes have been changed, let's select one character at a time. Click and hold, left mouse click, hold and move your mouse to the right to select the word or the character that you want to work with. I want to change the font color. After selecting the font that I need, or the text that I need to change, I need to click at the Home tab, and then in the Home tab I need to click at the Font Color button. This color button appears with an A with a dash at the bottom. Select the drop down button on its right and select the color that you would wish that word to have. Selecting R, red, excuse me, and then I also need to possibly change the next character. I need to select it and then select the font again, font color, and to change it to green, and then select another and change it to blue. That way you would be able to work with different font colors. However, you can actually work with the whole word, select it, or double click at the word and then select font color, change it to brown. That way you'll be able to change any colors of the words that you need to have in your documents. To select the entire paragraph, you can simply triple click 1, 2, 3. It will select the entire paragraph, and you can actually work with the entire paragraph when you are within this time. You should be within the paragraph section. We have already used the font section. Before we switch to the paragraph section, let us summarize. Suppose you don't have to use your mouse. What happens? All you need to do, whenever you want to change the font's properties, the shortcut key combination that you need to use after the selection of what you want to change, the property key combination that you need to use is Ctrl Ctrl plus letter D. Ctrl D will enable you to change or to easily have access to the entire properties of the fonts. Alternatively, click at the button at the bottom of your section and you'll be having the same functionality that I'm about to activate. Press the Ctrl key on your keyboard, activate the keyboard, press the Ctrl key on your keyboard and press letter D. Ctrl D. So as long as you press Ctrl D, you're going to have the dialog box for fonts. This dialog box enables you to easily change the font properties that you have on your computer system. You need to use those font properties that you can change anything like font colors. Let's look at something. Let's select this Ctrl D text and then press Ctrl D on your keyboard to activate the font dialog box. Let's change the fonts to possibly Verdana. Check that Verdana font, and you realize that at the bottom there you'll be having a preview of how the font will be. I'm changing the font sizes, the size, changing it to 12 or possibly 28. I want it to be bold and italic, bold, italic. Then I can actually attach the font colors there. Select the font color that you need it to have. It's turning to blue because I selected blue there. Underlining style, select it and select bordered, double. Alternatively, select solid, thicker. Underlining color, select another color that you need to have. Then we also have what we call effects. You can strike through, take it off, double strike through, take it off, superscript, subscript, shadows, outline, emboss, engrave, small caps, all caps, hidden. Alright, so let's look at this superscript and subscript. When let me just click OK so that we can see the effects before. Alright, that's the effect. Let's do something like running some mathematical formulas, writing a formula, mathematical formula or something like. It's okay, you can possibly write something, and you can write the tennis. There's what we call superscript and subscript. So for now, let's particularly look at log 10. So whenever you want, let me change this. Let me change it. I don't want the underlining. Take it off. No underlining. Okay. The underlining style, none. And then let the font be grayish or black. Alright, let's look at this. Let's change the font size to something that is visible. To be able to change this, we have what we call a superscript. So I'm selecting the 10 and I'm making it a subscript first. So when you look at the home tab, we have the font section, and you can be able to select a subscript button, the button that appears with the X and it has a 2 at the bottom. It makes the text that you've selected a subscript, shrinks it down and narrows it, brings it at the bottom of your word. To make it a superscript, it will shrink it down, that is the normal, and then takes it up. That is a superscript. So it will enable us to create things like care of. Suppose someone was to write care/of, and he needs to make this, select it and then make it a subscript, and then select this one and make it a superscript. And then this one is taken off so that we have something like that. So care of. The C is a subscript, I is the normal, and O is a superscript. That way you'll be able to work with subscripts and superscripts. Alternatively, if you choose to use the keyboard shortcut, just type C/O. Then select the C, make it a subscript. Alternatively, simply press Ctrl D and then use the effects. Make it a subscript and then click OK. Select the O, Ctrl D, and then make it a superscript. Click OK. Same effect is done. Alright, now that you know how to work with the fonts, the basic properties of the fonts, let us create a new document. How would we create a new document? New documents are created using the Office button and then select New. Once you click at the Office button and then select New, you'll have access to what we call you'll have instant access to creation of the blank document. This blank document will enable you to actually create the blank document, select it, and then click at Create. Instantly, the document will have been created. You realize that this one has document 2. I'm narrowing it down, resizing the window, and then the previous one that we were working with had document 1. Let's see whether we can create more and more documents. Suppose I don't prefer using the office button and select new. How can I create a document? The easy way out is to press your keyboard Ctrl N. Ctrl plus letter N creates another document for you. This is the third document. Press Ctrl, hold it down, press letter N, another document is created. So the more you create the N, Ctrl N, different documents are created. Let us save. Before we save, let us close these documents. The number of them. So you can close an individual. Alternatively, you choose to right click at the bottom where we have the arrows, the icons of these documents. Right click at that point and select close all windows. So the last window that we worked with will not be closed, and it will ask for whether you need to save or not. Do you want to save the changes? Yes or no? For now, let me close instantly. I don't want to save. Okay? So I need to cancel. Now I want us to learn how to save a document. How do we save a document? All you need to do, click at the office button and then select Save As. You can choose to use different file formats. I'm choosing just click at Save As. Once you click at the Save As, you realize that the Save As, it was going to bring what we call a Save As dialog box. This Save As dialog box, please locate where you want to save your files. On the left side of your dialog box, you can locate where you want to save your files. You can opt to save them on the desktop. So when you click at the desktop on the left side, you will be able to access everything on your desktop on the right. If you chose to click at the flash, possibly, you'll be able to access whatever that is on that flash on the right. I'm choosing to use desktop. And on desktop, all I need to do is to create a folder on the desktop. Click at new folder, and I will be able to access or give this a new name. Click anywhere out to confirm to the name and double click to open. After that, you can actually give your final name. Change the file name, give it a new name that you would wish to have. That is the file name I've chosen, tutorial1 file. Now let's save. We are saving to this PC on the desktop in the folder that I've just created that has word processing. Click at save. Once you click at the save button, the program is going to save your file. And you realize that on top there we have the title bar, and the title bar is no longer document 1 but has tutorial1 file. That will be the file name that you've chosen to have. Let us now create another file. can choose to use Ctrl N. Another file is created. This time around, let us learn how to use paragraphs. To use a paragraph, all you need to do, we are still working with Microsoft Word and we are in Home tab, and we're going to learn how to use this section for the paragraphs. You can have different paragraphs typed. All you need to do is to begin pushing your buttons on your keyboard to be able to enter the first paragraph. So take this to be our first paragraph that we've written with a lot of mistakes. Now that we have our paragraph ready, let us work with the paragraphs. Paragraphs can be aligned. We have 4 alignments that we can use. We can align text to the left, we can align it to the right, we can align it center, can line justified. Now that we have our text selected, this time let us zoom so that we learn how to use the text alignments. I'm going to align. By default, normally the text is flashing with the left margin. That alignment is what we call the left alignment. The text is flashing with the left margins. How do we know that this is where the margin passes? Let us click at the view section and activate the ruler. Realize that we have the ruler section, and when I click at that point, the imaginary line is drawn where my margin is. You can actually click and hold and move your imaginary line to the left, and can also click at that and move it to the left too, so that my text is outdented. Alternatively, you can undo. To undo, you press the Ctrl key, press Z. Alternatively, you use that button for undo or to redo. Undo, and everything goes back as it was, in case you have done mistakes. So excuse me. To be able to align left, select the text and then select Home tab, then under the paragraph section, align left. Click at it and the text will be aligned left. Select it and click align right, and it will appear at the extreme right point. There it is, at the extreme right. So I'm taking it back to align it left, and it's flashing with the left mouse margins. Let me select and change the font to something bigger. Now that we have something bigger, let us align right. Right alignment, click the right alignment button, and the text now will be flashing with the right margins. Center alignment, select the center alignment and then select the center alignment button. The text will be taken right in the middle of your document. Justify alignment enables the text to touch or to flash with the left margins, and it will also touch the right margins. So when you have text that doesn't touch both margins, many times you might not actually see the effect of the justified alignment. Let us justify alignment. Let's use the justified alignment using this paragraph. So I'm clicking the justified alignment and nothing has happened that is significant. However, if I need to select it and click left alignment and I add on some text, I'm pushing randomly, alright. Now that my text is flashing with the right, with the left, let us select this paragraph. To triple click, you'll be selecting the entire paragraph. 1, 2, 3. It will select the entire paragraph, and now I want to align its center. Align right. Align justified. So align justified will flash exactly with the left and the right margins. That is align justified. It is one of the best alignments that makes the document look good, looks nice. However, there are other things that we need to look at after looking at the alignments. We need to look at the bullets and numbering. Bullets and numbering. Changing this to something bigger. Bullets and numbering enables us to create outlines of different items to create a standard list. Take for example, if I need to make a shopping list of books, press the enter key on your keyboard to go to the next line. I want pens, and then I want rubber. Then I also need to get the bottle. So I can be able to create a list of these items. All I need to do is to click and hold, then select this list. Then in this list, all I need is to look at the home tab, select paragraphs, and then select bullets. The bullets, click at the bullets, and the bullets will be added automatically to your list. In this list, all you need to do, you can change. Highlight what you need to select, and then change the bullets to some other bullets. The characters, instead of having discs, click on the drop down arrow next to the bullets section and select any other characters. Try it with pictures. You can change to define a new bullet. Shall we take the symbols or pictures? You can take the symbols. Click OK, and the symbols are there, attached. Alternatively, you can actually do the tick, and then you can also change that to pictures, and you'll be able to select which kind of picture you would wish to have. the number of pictures that are attached. However, if you need more pictures, you can actually import a picture from different locations. Let's select a picture from the pictures, saved pictures. I don't know whether I have sample pictures there, but if I'm not, let me check my flash disk. I have simple pictures there, possibly a picture there. Click at it and then select OK. Picture was not added. Okay, it was not imported successfully. Alright. Anyway, that's how you add pictures. We shall not waste a lot of time. Click at the picture that you want to add and then click OK, and the picture will get added. You can actually change from bullets, and now we want to use the numbering. All you need to do is to select at the numbers, click at the numbers, and automatically this time we shall have numbered list, and then you can have the Roman numerals. Just need to point at the drop down arrow and change that. Okay. Now that you have mastered how to create different layouts of different bullets, let's change the font or the numbering value. Click at change the numbering value, and we select start from maybe J, so that we don't have A, B, C. We have J and the subsequent letters. Click OK, and the numbering changes. You can actually do what we call bulleted. If you have a list of that nature and you want other sub-bullets below the word pens, press enter. Another bullet will be added, but this one should be a sub of pens. Which kind of pens do you have? All you need to do is to indent, push it inwards. This is an increase indent button. Click at it and it will be pushed one step inside, and then I need to use big. Wonder whether that's the spelling of big. Okay, big. Oh, nice, clear. And then I need also to, you can push it further inside, or you bring it out dented, decrease indent, you out dent it, and you'll be able to work with anything that you would wish to use. Bullets under other bullets. So you can actually use this and you change it from this bullets, and we actually have numbered bullets. Change it from numbered bullets and can make it alphabetical. That's the way we work with bullets and numbering. So that is bullets and numbering. The way you play around with them makes your document interesting to look at, and how to use different properties in the document. Lastly, let's look at the backgrounds and the lists, that's line spacing. So you can actually attach a background to different text. So highlight what you want to be affected, and then in the paragraph section, look for the fill color or the shading, the bucket. Click at the drop down and select which color you want to work with. Possibly green, but green does not easily contrast with black. So possibly you need to highlight again and change the font color. This is a background color. Now I want to change the font colors. Click at the font colors and select white. It will be, the adjustment will be done properly. Let us put a border around this text. In the font, in the Home tab, select Paragraph and then select the borders. Click at the border and then you can put a border around the text. You can choose to remove these entire borders. Click and say select no borders. I'm checking off the backgrounds, no color. The color is taken off, but the text is already white. That's why we cannot actually see the text anymore. Select where the text should be and then change the text to black. That way you would be able to change everything that you possibly have in your document effectively. Let us now do what we call borders. Select what you want, enclose it in a border, and it will be enclosed right in the border. You can select it and change the border, give it a thicker color, borders and shadings. Give it a thicker color. Which weight do you want to have? Let's apply the colors. I want the color of blue. And which weight should I have? I want a thicker weight. 3 point, and then click OK, and should be appearing like that. That way you would have done a lot to create an interesting document in your using Microsoft Word. To summarize it, let's summarize it with the creation of the styles. Sometimes you need to work on document, and this document you need it to be uniform when it comes to fonts and the font sizes. For example, you might need to have something like a title. Select what you want the title to be, and then in the section of styles, select heading 1. Go to the previous, to the next heading, change it to heading 1. Automatically it will adapt to the heading 1. This is normal. Select all the text and attach it to the style of normal. This is helpful in case you need to make things uniform throughout your document. It will be so much helpful. However, you can actually create your own styles. Let's create our own style. All you need to do is click at the button for styles, and you'll be able to get the different styles that you are having in your document. At the bottom, create new style button is located there. This button helps us to create a new style, and that's what we want to create. We want to create a style called Tomcat. Tomcat V. That's the style. It's going to be affecting the paragraph. This style, I want it to have the font face of Valdemir script. Valdemir script. Okay, it's that Valdemir script, and the font size needs to be around 20 or 26, and the font, the spacing has to be indented. So this will give us the preview of what we are going to create. It will be indented by one step, and then this button will enable to increase the spacing between the text. So have the normal spacing, can have the double, and then, but we want the normal spacing. You can increase the spacing between the paragraphs, or you can decrease them. Then we would love to make it automatically update. Suppose we change anything in this, the layout of this font style, and it has been affecting almost 1,000 paragraphs in our document. All of them, we just need to change the font style, something in the font style, and it will automatically affect the entire document. Click OK, and automatically the buttons are affected. Let us select this, and then we check, triple click, and then realize that up there we have Tomcat. Okay, and in there we also have Tomcat. When we click at it, it automatically takes up this layout that we have chosen. Shall we now delete out this? Okay, and that's it. Can we make changes? Yes, we can. This time I might not necessarily look at that or make changes to the text. I just need to check the Tomcat, the style that I need to change. Click at the style. If at all this window is off, in the Home tab, make sure that you go to the bottom section and of the styles, and then select that button. Select Tomcat V that you want to change. Click at it, and then select Modify. Once you select Modify, there you'll be able to change the font to any other, possibly Times New Roman, and then the font is possibly going to be 16 or 18, and then click Automatically Update. Okay, and everything changes. So let's look at that. The bottom has already been also affected. That way you'll be able to change to make things uniform to your documents. With that, I would love to end this tutorial and hope that you are making it to be useful to enable you to create different documents and format them effectively. This tutorial is meant for beginners, and it's not intended for sophisticated users. It's intended to get the basic skills for the person who needs to use the software that I have exhibited, or I have illustrated how it is used. That ends my tutorial with you. Please subscribe, and we shall possibly add on other subsequent tutorials when it comes to editing, formatting, and creating documents. Till next time, may God bless you. Thank you.